that's probably the worst, most dangerous animal that exists. Nothing can stop them. So they have to be kept out. And that is compared to the mad elephant is actually when one starts blaspheming devotees. That is inviting an elephant into your garden of devotional service. When one starts blaspheming devotees, criticizing devotees, fault-finding devotees, one destroys one devotional service completely. So that one really has to guard against. That is it's such a dangerous thing. It means actually absolute destruction. To the degree one can, if one heavily blaspheme someone, when one's life is finished, if one simply starts becoming negative and critical of devotees, it's like pouring poison on the plant. The plant really starts withering, and that's therefore in the described in the Chaitanya Bhagavata by Vrindavan Das Thakur. It's something that he repeats constantly because in those days there was seemingly a great disagreement between Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu. We hear about that disagreement in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also, where there's in several cases they have fights, they're arguing and yelling at each other. All the advanced devotees understood that they're simply joking. There is no disagreement amongst them whatsoever. But that's fun. For fun, they argue like this. And as far as I know, it was generally started by Advaita Acharya, and he would just criticize Nityananda and says, here I am. And they were sitting next to each other taking prasad. And then Advaita Acharya was saying, here I am sitting next to an unknown mendicant. I do not know what will come of me by associating with someone whose origin is unknown. He's completely acting against all the rules and principles, and we don't even know where he comes from. I'll fall down because of associating with him. And then Nityananda would get angry, and then he would say that you are simply an impersonalist, Mayavadi, and I don't know what, by me sitting here next to some impersonalist like that, how will I get contaminated? And then Advaita Acharya would say, you're just what's called Brastavadoot, probably translated as a rejected Paramahamsa. Of course, of course it's bizarre because Paramahamsas cannot be rejected. Once in the Paramahamsa level, you're there. But you're like a rejected Paramahamsa who simply walks around to trouble brahmanas and fill your belly. That's all what you're doing.
Who said that?
Advaita Acharya.
To Nityananda?
Yeah, and then Nityananda would say that you invited me for food here, and there's not even enough to fill half my belly. And there was a huge feast. There was so much, Advaita Acharya made hundreds of preparations. Chaitanya was overwhelmed. He said, there's no way we can eat that. And Nityananda said, this is not, I've been fasting for 3 days. And Advaita Acharya invited us to break the fast, but this is not breaking the fast. There's no food here. And Advaita Acharya said, you simply give trouble to brahmanas. That's all. That's just, you can eat like. And he said, how much is like something like 100 kilos of rice? How can I get so much rice? I'm just a poor brahmana. And Nityananda would say, whatever you are, and like that. But you invited me, so now you must feed me. And then he would take some rice and he would get up and angry, and he would just throw the rice on the floor and say, I'm not even, I'm not even eating half of that. And then some of the rice would throw on the floor, and some of the rice would also, stuff gets stuck on Vajrachary's body. At that time you get up and then you jump in ecstasy, say, Jai, Jai, I got the mercy of Lord Nityananda, I got his remnants on my body, Hari-Om, Hari-Om. And in this way they were. It was a mock fight. They were, but it looked very severe. And seemingly there were those days, there were some neophyte devotees who did not understand really what was going on, and were just appreciating that. But some might taking sides. They start becoming critical about that. Vajracharya and Nityananda taking sides like that. And Vrindavan Thakur, the writer of Chaitanya Bhagavad, therefore warns again, don't take sides when there are devotees who are seemingly disagreeing on something, advanced devotees, senior devotees disagreeing on something. Do not take sides. Stay out, because that will kill your spiritual life if you start taking sides like that. Even there might be, of course in this case it was a mock fight, it was just for fun. But sometimes also devotees do disagree. Advanced devotees can have disagreements. But one should not take sides, become sympathetic to one and unsympathetic to another. One should understand this is beyond one's, I don't understand this, and one should also simply appreciate the disagreement is transcendental, meaning, okay, there's a disagreement. What is the disagreement about? How Krishna should be served? Both agree Krishna should be served. The motive is simply to please Krishna, but they have a little different perspective. I think we should serve Krishna like this, and another thing we should serve Krishna like that. Even in Vrindavan, there are disagreements like that. Some gopis think that Krishna should be served like that, another group wants to serve him like that. And that's so Krishna is the center in all cases. So therefore, it's actually a transcendental thing. And it really gives pleasure to Krishna sometimes, seeing that his devotees have different opinions. They want to serve him this way, and others want to serve him in that way, and like that. So it happens, like we have in the mission of this of Srila Prabhupada, like that. I mean, there are many devotees who have, think actually, we should do this, we should do that, and there will be some kind of disagreements on that. One should definitely stay out, one should not take sides when things like that happen. And one should understand that it's, there is, in any case, generally space enough for everyone. It's a big world. Some devotees like to have a little emphasis on one kind of preaching, others have a more emphasis on another kind of preaching. And it's just, it wasn't that just personal variety. Krishna might inspire different devotees differently in his mission as well. But that might also cause sometimes some kind of a little disagreement amongst devotees, that actually, you're not emphasizing this enough, and others, but you're not emphasizing that enough, and like that. But it's both are meant for serving Krishna. One should, again, the point is one should be very, very careful never to take sides or become critical of devotees. The main thing is, it's not so much taking sides, but if one starts becoming critical of devotees, one takes side of one group of devotees, and then one becomes critical of the other group of devotees. That's very, very harmful for one's devotional life. Devotees should always be, devotees are worshipful, devotees are should always be adored and appreciated. There shouldn't be any. Of course, one has to be in the real world also and be practical and so on. One should not be naive or follow blindly or like that. But still, one should always be highly appreciative of devotees and avoid the fault-finding, the critical mentality that can pop up. And it's something that will happen, or can happen easily, because when one, of course, in the beginning, when one meets devotees, one sees them, that these are like, they're all like demigods. Because wow, people like that, they're so pure and they're so whatever they are. And and then as one gets gets to know everyone, one find out they have their little, they have their particular side personalities, and sometimes they can have some funny habits or eccentrics, or even they're not completely perfect in all levels like that. And when that comes, then one can, there's a tendency, one can become critical. But once you guard against that, one should not become critical of that at all. Once you see this is actually, this is minor, this is really minor. The thing is that what they're doing is they are dedicating themselves to serve Krishna. And that's a real big thing. And the other things they are actually, they are. It's just when we get close to someone, it gets out of proportion, and one things which are actually very, very tiny or insignificant, they suddenly assume enormous proportions. Like when you see that in marriages sometimes, that husband and wife, some another starts fighting with each other like that, or constantly they go on the nerves of each other. And what is it that they very often lose the big picture of appreciating the other person or loving the other person that they loved at one point, because material love, what that is. But there was something appreciation of that person before that's not there. Now the big thing is that whatever he gets into complete rages about her, because every time she's in the bathroom and she uses the toothpaste, she presses in the middle of the tube, and this is not how you press. We actually have to at the end press from the end and then roll it up like that. But she always presses in the middle, and it just comes and she cannot when he comes home, then he takes off his socks and he puts them right there, and he doesn't put them, and these actually, of course you can say they are faults. Maybe they shouldn't, toothpaste tubes, probably should be pressed from the end or something like that. But really, and this is such a big thing that that one can be. So that's the danger is there. It's called familiarity that breeds contempt. Prabhupada would always say that's a danger. You become contempt. You understand the word contemptuous, verakt in Danish. Instead of in love, you actually you also see the faults, but they don't in any way affect your love or your appreciation. It's kind of even maybe a little an extra decoration. It's a charm that there's some little faults like that also. But when one gets very close to someone, then contempt starts arising, because especially when we have false egos, and it's kind of we feel disturbed by the presence of others. They are entering into our area and so on. Then one starts, instead of even I look in the faults, or even kind of find them kind of charming, the faults. Just like parents, for example, they see the children faults, but for them it's just charming the child's faults. That's actually love. Is actually the faults are even kind of they're kind of decorations. But and that's even the devotees can be if you appreciate devotees, even they're a little they have this particular what we consider faults. But actually, it's kind of just part of the personality. And but when one gets contemptuous, then these kind of faults one starts magnifying them and seeing them as one starts criticizing devotees, becoming critical of devotees, and by simply looking at all the big faults the devotees have, but don't have big faults. The big thing is they have surrendered to Krishna, they're trying their best to dedicate themselves to Krishna, so that's a real, and that's a big thing. And then there's some tiny things, like, the moon has some spots, but that doesn't mean that moonshine is not it's a very beautiful light, very, very wonderful light. But the spots, we notice that there are some spots on the moon. So that's actually how one should see the devotees, even though there's some little, but one doesn't even notice it. So anyway, it was just since this topic was here, this topic of blasphemy devotees, which will give you white leprosy, a terrible disease. So don't want white leprosy, don't blaspheme devotees, don't blaspheme Krishna. And in general, be very protective and careful of your devotional service. So it is the greatest gift one has been given. Cultivate it nicely. If one does that, it will grow into a wonderful plant with the most delicious fruit you can ever imagine. It will happen like it will go automatically. Plants grow automatically. God does not make them grow; they grow automatically. But He has been around and take care of the cultivation. So if we cultivate that plant properly, then it will grow automatically and become a wonderful creeper of devotional service, which is actually what we want. You should understand, we don't really want anything else. The material world has nothing to offer. The material world is a place of suffering and misery and repeated birth and death. There is nothing else. It has nothing to offer. Okay, I'll stop here. Any question, comments?
Yeah, I just read yesterday that Bhavananda, he said that when Prabhupada left, then he was a little bit bewildered and a little bit had a difficult time for some time, but then he started looking around, and then he started to see all around his godbrothers, or many of them, how each one represented one particular quality in Srila Prabhupada, and how much he then appreciated that and found shelter in that. So it was just a point you made there.
You were talking about these weeds which might resemble the creeper of devotion. We might overlook it, and then you said that we can take shelter of the devotees and they can point out to us that this is a weed and you need to get rid of it. But if it's very subtle, how can we be sure that it gets noticed?
It will get noticed.
Okay.
It's subtle to you, others it's not subtle. And they also smell. But and I think it doesn't smell to me. I'm used to my own bodily stink, and I think actually it's not so bad. But others, they feel. How can you tolerate it? We fall under illusion, and we see that those. It looks subtle to us. It looks like it is a creep of devotion, or it looks like I can see it's not completely, but it's harmless. It can be cultivated along that. It looks like that to us, but others will see this is just get rid of that, and they can see it, and it's the same old thing. You're there. You think this, yes, I'm very advanced devotee. You're just on a trip. You think you are a great devotee. You think that you are the new Messiah, and you are here to save everyone. Like in your mind, it's like I'm very. Actually, I'm really advanced. And also, you're just on a big ego trip. It's not subtle. But so if we simply allow us always to be open to be criticized by devotees, then we'll have no problems. Problem is when we close up our false ego closes up, and devotees want to help. devotees like to help each other, and they see a devotee he has an anatha, a weed that is there. Devotees will go and, at first they might just try to do like in a joking way, or they might, if it doesn't help, they'll actually tell you very straight and criticize you, and maybe pull you aside and have a very serious conversation with you. This you have to really take care of, like that. So, and if one is simply is happy to accept that when one is being helped by devotees, then one is safe. But then if the false ego closes one up and one doesn't want to hear, and instead of simply accepting the criticism, happily think that I really got the mercy, I'm depending on the mercy of devotees, then one becomes angry. Who do they think they are? They don't understand me, and no, they're wrong. They're just neophytes. They're just envious of me. They don't appreciate my exalted position. They're just envious of me like that. Then you start sealing yourself off, and then it starts becoming dangerous. But it's not. But generally, anathas. It's been around for a little while. You can see. In one sense, it's like. It takes. Like parents can see the anathas in children very easily. To children, it might not be obvious, but for parents, it's like they all have the same anathas. They cannot hide them. Children cannot hide even though they try to hide. From the parents, but the parents can see it immediately. So all the devotees can always see it in us also immediately, even though to us you might think it's very subtle. It's not so subtle. Gross things are very obvious, and then the next level is desire for worship, prestige, distinction, like that, and they are, same old thing again. It's sex life in a subtle form. It's sex life in a subtle form. That's it?
That's it.
Ja. Ja. Shiva Bhagavatam Ki, Shiva Bhagavatam Ki.